Hey. Okay, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a how many 5-star reads can I find in this video. I'm partly doing it just because I love watching these, but partly also because there's some 5 stars brewing, I think. And the last book I read, which I think I'm probably going to give 5 stars, it's inspired me to make this video, and also because I've just been reading some really good books recently, and I feel like it deserves its own video because why am I reading so many good books? I just feel like that just blows my mind. The 2 books I'm reading right now are The 4 Winds by Kristin and Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. However you want to say it. But I am currently, I want to say like over halfway through The 4 Winds, and then Kingdom of Ash I've hardly started, so I feel like Kingdom of Ash is going to take me a while to get through, so hopefully it can be in this video, because I'm sure that'll be a 5-star, but I don't know. I feel like, especially this last book, knowing it's so long, it's going to take me a while to get through, so I don't want to rush that also. It's the last book too, so I don't want to rush like finishing the series, because I know it's going to be so sad when I'm done. So let's see how many 5-star reads we can fit into one video, shall we? Okay, quick pause to say that the audio in this video is kind of inconsistent and not the best quality, so my apologies in advance. Your girl is still trying to figure out her microphones, so if you can, please ignore it. Sorry about that. Okay, while we're here, let me just say a prediction that I have, because I feel like I could be right. There's at least a chance I could be right. So let me just say it and put it into existence, and then we'll see. I'm like over halfway through, but one of my theories is I think we just met a love interest, and I'm wondering what role he plays unless it's a love interest, but I feel like this is so not the kind of book that would have a love interest, and I feel like that's a little bit messed up, knowing like what has happened in the book so far. I won't spoil anything. If I say like why that's messed up, I feel like it'll spoil something if I say why I feel like that's weird, but it's kind of weird sounding. I don't know if I'm just crazy or if there's something going on. So I'm just gonna put that into existence just in case. But I do feel like he's maybe a love interest that we just met. Over halfway through the book too, which seems like a weird time to introduce a love interest. But anyways, that's happening right now.
27. When Loretta woke up, she didn't know where she was. She sat up slowly, feeling a cloud-soft mattress beneath her. Hair lay across her.
Okay, I got distracted on my phone for a second, but we're back. At a point, I'm on page 322 right now. I'm at a point though where I'm like, I don't know if I want to read something this sad. Not that I'm gonna not read it, but I might want to listen to it just to help pass the sadness. Although the whole book's been sad, so I don't think it's gonna go away, but I just want to take a little break. So I'm gonna go on a little walk and listen to a chapter or two maybe. We'll see. The chapters are kind of long, but yeah, let's go on a little walk. Something like 40 pages left, so I'm scared.
Okay, I just finished The Four Winds, and I'm actually about to go watch the Summer I Turned Pretty with my friends, so I will have to give you my thoughts later. But just know there were tears. I hadn't underlined anything in that book because I kind of wasn't, since I hadn't yet, I was like, okay, well, it doesn't make sense to start underlining stuff partway through the book. But there were so many good lines at the end of that. I had to. There were so many good things. Oh my gosh, so good. Anyways, I'll give you my thoughts later, but that was good.
Hi. Nope. Hey. And as we saw, I finished Four Winds, The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah last night. So let's talk about that. By the time I edit this, I need to pick a rating, but at this moment, I don't have a rating just yet. It's definitely in the 4 to 5 star range. They're really out of frame, so you can't see him. It's the loudest purring ever. That or he has a hairball coming. So that sound, all him, okay? It's really loud. Okay, anyways, let's talk about The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. This was my first Kristin Hannah book, so I feel the need to point that out just because I have wanted to pick up one of her books for quite some time. I have multiple copies of her books. I just have never read one. I just have never picked one up till now. So anyways, let's talk about the ending and then talk about the overall thoughts on the book, which is, it's a very sad book, which I feel like is to be expected. No, maybe? I mean, it did go, like, the sadness kind of went on further, like, longer than I thought it would, if I'm being honest. I just feel like it was a little bit perpetual, how they could never catch a break, they could never get ahead, they could never just, like, not be starving, not be hungry, not be, like, just, like, bony and skinny. It was very sad. That being said, I feel like there was so much mother-daughter relationship that was one of the main things that stuck out to me, especially towards the ending, which the ending took a very unexpected turn, which is very interesting. Not something I would have thought was coming, which is what unexpected means, girl. That you just said that. Anyway, so that took an unexpected turn, and the ending was so sad. It was just crazy sad. As we saw, cue the 15-minute video I have of me crying. I won't get into exactly fully why I was crying, just because that's how spoilers work. There was a lot of talk about self-identity and, like, the way that, like, your parents speak to you influences the way that you perceive yourself, you perceive the world. There was a lot of mother-daughter relationship, I guess troubles, but, like, just what that bond looks like in so many ways, and, like, just the teenage daughter role can kind of take. I really loved the, I guess, grandparents that we got to know. This is Great Depression, the Great Plains Dust Bowl, 1930s, just so we know the timeline. There's a lot of starvation, there was dust storms, there was just a complete like drought. What's the word? Famine, drought, dust storms, starvation, just all the things. So it was absolutely horrible to read about, but honestly informed me on a piece of history I was not aware of, just in the sense of, like, the Great Plains Dust Bowl was not something I mean, maybe I've heard of it, but, like, not something I totally understood how devastating that was. I loved the way that Kristin Hannah highlighted the women's role in some of these hardships, and not just how it was, like, all on the man to, like, provide and do all these things. It was about, like, them as a family, and, like, the wives, like, being a really key part of the family and a key part of, like, how their farm ran. It was also very interesting to read about, like, the way that people were treated when they migrated from Texas, or the whole area of the Great Plains, so not just Texas but other states around that area. When they migrated to California, how they were treated quite literally was inhumane and completely not okay. Like, it was crazy. You would have thought they were like criminals, or you would have thought they were like infested with like disgusting disease. Like, they treated them so horribly, which was something I also probably would not have heard about, I feel like. I mean, you hear about things like that happening with other people groups, but I've never heard of that happening with like people who literally came from one state and drove 3 states over, and now they're like called Okies is what they call them, which is very sad and weird. So they were denied all sorts of healthcare, they were denied food, they were denied schools, they were denied work, all because they were from Texas, which was very interesting to read about. I also was unaware of some of the political stuff that was going to happen in the book. Not something I'm 100% in agreement with, but I feel like the political aspect was a little unexpected. It was interesting to read about. I won't divulge my opinions on that topic, but there was just so many good relationships in that book. I was totally struck by how like hardship, especially like in the past, I feel like now, I don't know if that's a total thing, but like how in the past it is so uniting to be in hard times, which is so like sounds counterintuitive and sounds kind of ironic, but like when they were going through Great Depression, they were going through the Dust Bowl, it was like they met people, which ended up being people you fell in love with, and they like just connected with so well. And it was like people we met towards the end of the book even. It was like just so heartwarming to see how people banded together when there was a cause and there was something to fight for. That was something I really admired about the writing, but also just like the characters. It felt so just comforting and like wholesome to see people just like help each other even when times were hard and there wasn't food on the table. So I just love that. It's something I'm going to keep with me from that book. So yeah, that's going to be a hard book to move on from. I feel like I'm not going to read another Kristin Hannah book just yet, only because I need a little palate cleanser. Because I did kind of think like, oh, the beginning's pretty sad, but I was loving it. Like, I was fine with it being sad because that's what I was expecting, but it just like never let up, and I was kind of shocked by that. Obviously realistic, probably. She probably did research. I didn't do any research, so I'm sure it wasn't like, oh, it's hard for the first 100 pages and then the rest is just happy-go-lucky. It's like, what'd you think, girl? You don't just get out of the Great Depression in like 6 months. Like, it's years. And this like covered like a whole time span of like from our main character Elsa, from her being a little child to when she I think was like 40. So this is like a big, I mean there were time jumps, but like we covered a lot of ground. So anyways, it was just lovely to see. I'm gonna think about that book for a long time, I think. So I'll let you know what I pick for my next read. Okay, so we are at a hotel in Washington right now. Bringing my book down to the lobby to read.
so humbling. Such a tabs from Daiso. I like those tabs because they're thinner than the ones I have. Also, they're like, I don't know if you can even see it, they're so pastel. The colors are like so subtle. Hello. Okay. Mind the hotel noise. Now I'm going on a little family vacation, and so I decided I wanted to start Book Lovers, which I thought I started it before we left, and then I went back on my audiobook and I literally was on the prologue. So that being said, I did not start it. I really just started it today. I'm actually liking it a little bit more than I thought, just because for some reason I had just heard negative things about Book Lovers as a whole. Like, not negative, but just like the Emily Henry fans weren't loving it as much, and so it made me kind of nervous. And I only have ever read Beach Read by her, and so I was like, okay, I know that's one of her most beloved books, and so it made me kind of nervous going into another book of hers because there was, I don't even remember who I'm referring to when I say I heard someone didn't like it, but I don't remember who it was now. Anyways, it made me nervous, kind of for no reason. There's Olivia Rodrigo playing, so just mind the background noise. Hopefully I'm talking loud enough. It's also really hot out here. It's probably 80 degrees and it's like 10 o'clock at night. Actually, it's 10 on the dot, weirdly. My intimidation by this book was based on the vibes. Once I actually went onto Goodreads, read the synopsis for this book, I was like, I'm gonna love this. Like, I love the idea of it being a literary agent and then I think he's like an editor. Like, they both work in the publishing industry, and I think that's so cute, and I love that because obviously it goes with the title, and it's very like cute being in a book about people who like reading. Everything about that is so cute to me. So, that is where I'm at. I'm not super far into the story or anything. A lot of what I'm at actually right now is on the back of the book. I just was looking at it and I was like, oh, everything happening right now is pretty much in the synopsis. So we are following Nora, who is who's like the type A girl. She is like a tall blonde, I want to say she's blonde. Literary agent in New York City, so everything's like, she's very New York City. She's one of those business women. She's giving powerful businesswoman. So that's how we find her. Her sister Libby is pregnant. They're like besties. There's been kind of some distance between them recently, and she doesn't really know why. And so kind of in an effort to, they've kind of both felt the distance, but they're not totally sure what the reason, if it's just her being pregnant or whatever. This is like her third pregnancy, so it kind of doesn't make sense for that to be it. So, and they don't totally like tell you why, so I'm not sure if we're supposed to know what the reason is or if it's more just supposed to be like a feeling. So the sister books a trip for them to go to the town that this book is set in, and this book is one of the ones that she did publishing, who's an agent for the author, I guess. So she's an agent, so Nora is the agent for this author that wrote this book, and her sister really love this book. This is where we meet Charlie, where they're both like, it's like grumpy ex grumpy, like it's just so, they're both so standoffish when they first meet each other, and I kind of liked that, weirdly. I weirdly enjoyed that. It's just being the first interaction. They meet up because he's an editor, like I said, and she is trying to find a good editor or publishing company or something. She's trying to find people to help promote this book. I don't remember the name of this book now, which is kind of annoying. And she loves it, but then this guy Charlie is like, oh, this is unreadable. Like, he's like, this is so bad. And is kind of just hating on it. And so they're kind of bickering back and forth. She is having a bad day, he's having a bad day, and then we don't really know, we kind of know her reason, but we don't really know what's going on with him. And then we have like a time jump, and which I actually didn't know there's a time jump, so I was kind of confused for a hot second until I figured out there was like a 2-year time jump. But because she was saying how she like recalled in the time jump, she remembered their meeting from like forever ago, and like smiled to herself about something that he had said, or like something that she was right about. I think it was about the book, because he didn't like it and she did. But then then I was like, wait, I thought they just met like a week ago. So wait, like I was so good. I don't think they really told us there was a time jump, which you're supposed to usually pick up on. They don't always tell you like 2 years later, like they do in movies. A lot of times you have to pick up hints that it's been time has passed, but I think they just went right over my head. So I figured that it was fine. But anyway, so we're now kind of at they're at this town, which I don't remember the name of, and she sees Charlie there, and so it's kind of this fun little nemesis, but also kind of attracted to each other moment of like, I don't know if I should say like that I saw him, but then they end up running into each other. So then I think she physically runs into him. Now that that was like how they were like, oh, hey, you're in this town too. So we're finding out more about him, which I'm really liking, and I like their like banter is really good. They're a little more sarcastic in their banter, which I'm really liking, and I just like their chemistry. They have good chemistry. I need to lock in an image of what Charlie looks like in my mind, because he's kind of transitioning into a couple different people, and like partly a cartoon and partly a real person in my head, and I think that's just because I'm struggling to like hold on to one final like, this is what he looks like, and then the rest of the book I'll picture him that way. But for some reason I haven't done that yet, and so I just like don't have a clear picture of what he looks like. I do have actually a pretty good picture of how she looks like, which usually helps me be more into a book when I can really picture every detail. And like, I'm one of those people who I usually can picture like every part of a book to where it's like a movie in my head, which is like one of my favorite parts of reading, is just feeling like it comes alive to me. If that didn't happen to me and I had like no imagination when I read, I don't think I would enjoy reading very much, just being honest. But anyways, so I need to get him locked in as someone, and then I'll be more excited about that. But anyways, they have good chemistry. I'm liking them. And Emily Henry is famous for her ability to like intertwine a beautiful romance with like fiction, and just making like the story really have depth. And so that's something I'm already really liking, and so I'm actually going to go ahead and underline a couple things. That's why I wanted to go find my pen, was because I needed to underline a few things. And I've been tabbing too, so it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. I love good writing. And after I read Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, I knew I wanted something similar to that, because I absolutely loved it. And I literally have thought about it every day since I read it, which is a pretty good sign considering I read it July 22nd. I thought about it pretty much every day, if not every day, so that's a good sign. But if you want to see me read that and tell you my thoughts, I did that in my last video, my How Much Can We Read in 24 Hours video with Maddie, so go check that out if you haven't watched it. But it was a 5-star for me, and I think I rated Beach Read 4 or 4.25 stars, so I am wanting a little something different from this book than I got from Beach Read, but I did love a lot of things about Beach Read, and so I'm looking forward to getting further into this. We have like a 2-hour drive tomorrow. Hopefully I'll make another little dent in that tomorrow. But, yeah, good night.
Alrighty, there we go. You're welcome. You guys have a great day.
It's out of order, but just look beautiful. That's so pretty. Made a little purchase. Ooh. Yeah, like lemonade syrup. Okay, yeah. And then that's what you would put on the snow cone lemonade, or the snow ice. Sounds yummy. In the mirror. This is a video. Zoe, scooch in the front.
don't have like notes or anything, so we're just gonna go off the dome here. Finished this on the drive home from our vacation. I really liked it. I rated it 5 stars already, which I was kind of not expecting going into it. Not that I was expecting to dislike it. Book Lovers was never one of the books of Emily Henry's that I had heard recommended that much. And so even though I knew I would probably like it because it's about people who work with books, I still was a little bit hesitant going into it for that reason. But when I read the synopsis, I was like, why would I not love this? So I immediately picked it up as soon as I had a second. And so I picked this up based on just the synopsis of knowing book lovers and small town cute stuff. Honestly, went in like semi-blind because I had read the synopsis weeks before I actually started reading it. I just remembered that I would like it. I didn't remember much about it. So, that was really fun. Highly recommend going in blind. But let me read the synopsis and see. The back doesn't give away that much. So, like, I could have gone in not blind, but I just didn't do that on purpose. I didn't do that on purpose. I just went in blind by accident. As you can see, I tabbed this copy of it, which is really fun. I did a couple annotations, nothing crazy. A lot more towards the end, but just like I did an orange. I used an orange pen because it matched the spine and the cute stuff on it, which my nieces got to it, which is my fault because I left it out with the pen next to it, so that's my own fault. I'll just keep this as a memory of them and not get too upset about it. But anyways, love Emily Henry, love the fact that she incorporates fiction and real life things into her romances that isn't just the romance. I really like Charlie. I feel like Emily Henry writes really good book boyfriends. They're very witty. I really like their banter. I like Nora more than I kind of was liking her. By the end, I liked her more than I liked her at the beginning, if that makes sense. I think she had a lot of good character development. Nora really seemed like she understood herself and even helped Charlie understand himself, if that makes sense, by the end. Sisterhood dynamic was really kind of unexpected because, like I said, I kind of went in blind. And also, I don't think this is really on the back. I don't think that's really in the... It kind of is. Okay, well, anyway. I didn't really know about the whole sisterhood element. It is funny that a lot of romances have a dead mom, so this one does fall into that category, which is not a spoiler. But I did really like this. By the end, I cried multiple times, and I was like, I don't know if other people have cried during this, or if I'm just a softie, but it was hitting home for me in a lot of ways. Nora was relatable to me in a lot of ways. Libby was relatable to me in a lot of ways. It was really cool to see just the way that like Charlie and Nora connected each other and like saw through kind of their first meet at the beginning and just saw through each other and like got to know each other so well. There is spice in her books, so I just skipped that personally, which I don't love, but skipping it is the best I can do if I want to pick up her books. So I try to just kind of skim and see when things are over. It's not a big deal. It was a big fat 5 stars for me, which was kind of, like I said, unexpected. But I was on family vacation. I brought this thinking maybe I'll read some. I did read actually a lot, and I was surprised by that, and I think it's just because I was so excited to go back and pick it up. Even on vacation, I was excited to go back and pick it up, which does say something. So it was such a fun book that was heartfelt and cute, and I already miss it. I already want to reread it. Like, it's just so good. That concludes our seeing how many 5-star reads we can find. Dun dun dun, 5-star read. Goodreads review also has some of my thoughts, so feel free to follow me on there. But I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming along with me. Bye.